more.
Yeah.
Hours away from England.
It's like
Come on!
It's like Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, Boxing Day, and my birthday, all in one.
Roll it all together.
The opposite of that.
Wrap it in bacon, and feed it to me.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
There's no eating in the studio, but he has got the bacon wrapped up outside in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And before you go today, get it under that grill for the boy.
Yes,
Yeah.
nice.
Do it for your boy.
I'll take the bacon. As I said on Wednesday, I'm not overly keen on the Premier League stopping, but
No,
at least
fair
we have
enough.
a game to look forward to.
We have a big game to look forward to.
Well, we have a game to look forward
A
to.
huge matter.
Well, what you can do is you can eat possibly in a way of taunting our opponents tonight. A dish called savapi, which is like the most widely recognised Serbian national dish. It's like a big plate of like minced meat turned into sausages.
Keep going.
Nice.
Keep
That's a bit of
talking.
you, that, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Keep.
Yeah.
What else
So
you
you
got on
mean
there?
you would taunt them by making it slightly off? You know the way Italians get annoyed when you don't
Put a bit of
buy-
pineapple on the pizza.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah, I'll chuck a bit of pineapple in there.
I'm all
Yeah.
for that behaviour,
Yeah.
by the way.
And I think they.
I love to disrespecting other nations' cuisines.
Well, we went into bat with Vish
It's all
yesterday
for
on
that.
Uncut, didn't we? About
Yeah.
his food
Yeah.
boredom.
Yeah.
And they eat that in a flatbread with some grilled onions, Vish.
Oh, that's lovely.
That'd be nice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With a bit of gravy on top.
Yeah. Bristol only.
Yes. Yeah, I like it.
Gravy is brilliant, but
Yeah.
anyway, we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
England, and why don't the rest of the world get involved? England obviously already qualified for World Cup 2026. Still a big game tonight, though.
As you may have detected by the opening to this show. Yeah. You cut the tension with a cricket stump.
You're back on board, Vish.
Yeah, there we go. One for you, mate.
There we are. 6
You
wins.
mean
from,
the curved side of it, so it'd be harder to
Exactly.
rather
Shut
than
up.
spike it.
There are 6 wins from 6 in qualifying. England have scored 18 goals without conceding any. Just hand us that trophy now.
Yeah.
Give us
Please,
it.
can we have it?
Yeah, seriously, because I don't think there's any other
Yeah.
way we might. Look, England have been impressive. They play Serbia tonight. And of course, Luke Moore, really the Thomas Tuchel era kicked in with England when they went to Serbia and won 5-0.
It came from nowhere, didn't it? Not quite from nowhere, because we know England are a good side, but there had been. I think it's fair to say there had been nothing to suggest that particular result and performance was going to happen. But of course it did, and we've not looked back since. Really, England haven't looked back since, so it feels like it's clicked. Whereas before we were all very sceptical about Thomas Tuchel, myself probably more than most, because I am sometimes right, sometimes wrong, always certain, as we know. And now I've had to change my tune.
Yes.
Which I'm not above doing. So as the facts change, Marcus, my opinion will change.
Yeah, I mean, leading
Unless
up...
unless I'm specifically annoyed with like a very annoying YouTube commenter, then I'll never change my opinion to spite them individually.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's
what broadcasting is.
very big of
They
you.
don't teach that at university, but that's what broadcasting actually is all about.
Very big of you.
Spite.
Yeah. Leading up to that Serbia game, because we don't have to do a huge retrospective, but it had been fairly unconvincing with England. Obviously, Senegal battered England in Nottingham. That game came along against Serbia, and you could see Tuchel. It felt like after the game he was purring, and he didn't seem that. He seemed fairly calm and collected. What had gone on before that, which still was wins in qualification. It was not hugely convincing, but everyone was kind of saying, well, or some people were saying, well, what do you expect? You know, whereas it was a statement win, and Tuchel, as I say, was purring, and it felt like, to me, where I was viewing, Tuchel had the bit between his teeth. He go, I've got them. Whatever's going on here, I think I'm in the groove now, and this group of players is in the groove, and he's picked very similar squads. He said that, isn't it? It's minor changes here and there, which on one level you would expect, but with some of the personnel, you think, okay, he's really concerned about the sort of the group harmony and all the rest of it. So I suppose there's a very long-winded way of saying this game against Serbia, yes, okay, England have already qualified, da-di-da-di-da. But actually, because of the fierce competition for places and because of what Tuchel wants, he'll want that mood and spirit to keep going. So I think there is importance to this game. I don't think it's some sort of throwaway, it doesn't matter if it's a draw or the performance
It's always
isn't great.
important. Whenever England plays, it's important, right?
Yeah. And I think, this is just a continuation of, I suppose, on-field harmony that they need to be successful next summer. Yeah, I mean, like, I was flippant basically about this particular match because England, as you said, have already qualified. The hardest bit has been done.
And you apologise for that flippancy now, don't you?
No, I don't. I'm making excuses for it.
Yeah, fair enough. Again,
Yeah,
that's
two
what
very
broadcast is all about.
Two very different things.
It's
yeah.
really, I can't stress that enough.
Okay.
The Senegal game was interesting because Yeah, that was like the proper red flags, and it was like he's a secret agent. He's trying to bring us down from the inside.
He still could be.
He could, yeah, but he thinks the heartbreak's going to be.
I think
bigger.
he was doing that, but we flipped him.
Yeah.
Now he's a double agent.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to go back to Germany after this and torpedo them.
The crown always wins. Carry on.
Yeah.
That's what Marcus says before he goes to bed every night. Another day in the kingdom.
Yeah.
The crown always wins.
Are you making a picture? Do you think there's a vacancy for a royal now? Are you making a picture of this?
Yeah. Yeah.
What the hell was I going to say? Yeah.
Prince Marcus.
Yes.
There was a stage, and obviously with the Senegal game, but even the 2-0 victory against Andorra, which wasn't very convincing, where I felt personally I was still getting used to those players being in for all intents and purposes, a full-strength first-string England squad.
Mm-hmm.
And now enough time has passed that even, as we discussed on Wednesday, the name Jarrell Kwanzaa being in an England squad isn't alarming. And Tuchel certainly feels more comfortable with what he regards as his squad. And the fact that he can bring Jude Bellingham into this squad for the first time in this particular cycle and still have a sense of, oh yeah, but like he almost rode that wave, and a lot of the wave was of his own making to a point, but he's able to do it in a real sense of like, right, don't worry, mate, we've qualified. We do know how good you are, though. Let's get this trending towards the thing that actually matters next summer, the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, all eyes are on that, really.
I mean, that's basically the scope of his gig, isn't it?
Indeed. Would you expect Guernsey-born Alex Scott to feature Luke Moore in this game?
It depends how Tuchel's looking at it. If he wants to get him around the squad because he might need him, and he wants to get him comfortable with the environment and get to know some of the players a bit better, then he might not play much. But given the circumstances that you guys have already touched on, I mean, he can play. I mean, the other way of looking at it is that, like, if you're going to pick him and it's going to attract headlines, that it is because it's a surprise, but it's an interesting development, shall we say? And it feels weird to not play him. And I think Tuchel, to his credit, has gone with players and gone like, you know what, we're going to let him go. He stuck with Rodgers when he didn't need to, for example. Rodgers didn't have a brilliant start to the season, stuck with him. He stuck with Anderson, who I know has been brilliant, but Anderson's not, up until a few months ago, isn't a fashionable name in the England setup. I think he's an absolutely fantastic player, and he's well worth staying in there.
But I think people look at Anderson as a starter now.
They do. That's so if Alex Scott goes in there and does really well, I mean, you guys, I feel like, I thought this the other day actually, I feel like you guys have seen Alex Scott play more than I have, so maybe I should defer to you guys. But clearly he's like a defensive midfield player.
Well, he sees himself more as we say nowadays, a number 8 rather than number 6. So, but he has played there.
So he's deputised. He's going to be a deputy for one of the midfield players in there.
Well, indeed,
so you want to get him some experience of some description, presumably.
Yeah. I mean, also as well, Tuchel might be thinking that with Scott and Anderson doing very well for the England under-21s, he's familiar with him. He's having a decent season. Again, I think it's more... I would suspect, as I'm sure a lot of others would, that this is in case of suddenly sort of a number of injuries in a very key area of the pitch where England might sort of slightly lack. Just to have someone who is familiar. I think that's it.
But he might play Wharton instead, no?
Well, Wharton's in the squad as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I suspect Wharton might be ahead. I think still Wharton, Rice and probably Bellingham is a midfield that I think a lot of people would still like to see. Wharton was the one. Addison's come in and taken his chance and taken it very, very well. And you think, that's great. But I think Wharton is a player that a lot of people, myself included, would like to see in an England shirt. With Scott, it's, Wharton has had his injury problems. You can't... Declan Rice at some point might get tired. Do you know what I mean? Because he just seems to be like the Duracell bunny. So I think Scott it's more of a precaution, really.
It's a bit of insurance, isn't it?
Exactly.
Having a look at a potential bit of insurance.
Yeah, because you'd rather someone who is at least familiar with being in that camp with all those players rather than on the eve of the tournament.
And the role, what Luke was saying there is like him being a deep-lying midfielder who starts moves, can also break up moves. If you think of like how he's started this season, he's basically come in and taken Ryan Christie's gig at Bournemouth. Do you remember how good Ryan Christie was last season?
Yeah.
The fact that he's, I think he started 10 games this season, and Ryan Christie's 9 appearances this season, 8 have come as a sub. It's a pretty big thing considering
Yes, it is,
how
yeah.
integral that was to Bournemouth last season. I appreciate that, they did fall away, but
Iraola's brilliant at that, though.
Oh, yeah.
Iraola's so good. If you look at the players he's lost in his back four, for example, last season, he's so good at just replacing them in whatever way he feels like he needs to.
Also,
it's a real hallmark of his management.
yeah,
Also,
he
as well,
even does it in game with that midfield too.
Well, totally. I think that's another thing that comes into Tuchel's thinking is it's the position where Alex Scott can play. The fact is he's, a
and
good
how
partnership.
he's playing the role as well.
How he's
yeah,
playing the role, but,
yeah.
but you get that under a manager like Iraola.
Yeah.
He's having a great footballing education now. And so I kind of get it. I don't think we'll see him necessarily against Serbia. He might get, depending on how the scoreline is, maybe towards the end. Maybe against Albania though, in the next game.
I think, I think that's probably more likely, not least because one of the things Tuchel has been good at is working with Premier League managers.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, right, it's your first time, we'll rest a couple of the big dogs. Go and show us what you're made of, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is a I say must-win game for Serbia. I mean, if Albania win their game and Serbia lose, then Nations League aside, they're pretty much out the runnings, really. So a big game for Serbia. Alex Scott, though, Guernsey-born, of course, only one of 3. Or he will become, if he plays minutes, become the 3rd player born in the Channel Islands to play for the England men's team at senior level. The other 2 being Luke Moore.
Graham Lasso.
Yep.
Matthew Letizia.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's nice that he's, I was going to say an English name. I mean,
Careful.
it is Scott.
Yeah, I thought you were saying about the conspiracy.
Let's hope not.
No.
Now, up until recently, did you know this? Players from the Channel Islands could choose any of the 4 UK nations to represent as they were classed as British. I was aware of that. And that kind of makes sense because if you're from the Channel Islands, and now, okay, I'm not going to tell every person.
You should be able to do France as well. It's so close.
It is, and if you've got a le in your name as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously closer to France than here. But if you've ever made the mistake, as my mate did, and talk about Britain as the mainland, it's not like the Isle of Wight, because the Isle of Wight was obviously part of England, therefore part of Britain. It's a crown dependency. So it's an odd little classification.
Well, they've got to decide whose side they're on then.
I think they did.
Yeah, they did for a bit.
Bit of history there, Vish.
Odd little classification, daft little nation.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. It's a very unique classification, would be a more diplomatic way of putting it.
But what are you going to say? Because FIFA have done us a solid, haven't they?
Well, FIFA have changed the rules, which means that if you're from one of the Channel Islands, you can only represent England now, which is the nation geographically closest to the Crown dependencies.
We've got our islands back. Hey, we've got our islands back.
We have.
Go on, Gianni, get it up, yeah. Hey,
he's done something for us.
Yeah. As soon as you can have Letizia to Scotland if you want.
Yeah.
We'll drive him up there but ourselves if you want.
Yeah, true. This rule stopped Craig Bellamy from calling up Celtic's Callum Osmond, who represented Wales at youth level, which is a bit of a sickener for him.
No, but Craig Bellamy would have come out in an interview and said, I absolutely love the challenge of being hammered by admin. I love it. I love the big admin games.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. This makes me be more creative as a manager, so I'm into it.
Yeah. So Alex Scott's obviously one that caught the attention when the squad was announced. I mean, looking around the team, you would in this game, I would expect him to play probably what he thinks is his best 11 or an 11 that would start the first game at the World Cup next year at home to Serbia, a side who need a result.
You really think that?
I think we might see a little insight into. I mean, maybe he might. I mean, obviously with the injury of Mark Gay, who you think would start alongside Stones,
but as close to. Yeah.
So
Cons are all played instead, which is what would happen in the real situation if it was like that.
Possibly that, but the only thing I might think is that would he maybe put Shalabar in there to give him a little bit more experienced, and then at left back, I'm still. We spoke about left back on yesterday's pod. I think the left back spot is still up for grabs.
I would like to see him play O'Reilly.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him play Wharton. I'm not against seeing him play Alex Scott for all the reasons that we've discussed. And as Vish has said, Konza plays alongside Stones because that's what would happen in the real scenario. Again, he was somehow unavailable. And the other the definites are that Rice, Kane and Pickford will play.
And Saka.
Saka's back, yeah.
You'd imagine he'd start Saka. And on the other side, I mean, it looks like Rashford.
Little Rashy.
He likes Rashford. He wants to pace on the break. I think Rashford, it's his to lose, you would argue.
We've got a Rashford back.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
So
we'll see. In a few hours' time, we're going to find out.
We are going to find out. Now, Thomas Tuchel's assistant is, of course, Antony Barry, and he said a lovely quote recently in the press where he said the England shirt should feel like a cape, not body armour. Come on.
Yeah, I like that. It's nice.
I like that as well.
I kind of really like the general idea of Antony Barry.
Yeah.
He looks like a very genial, proper Englishman.
Yeah.
Which in this context is important.
Uh-huh.
He looks almost like a bit like...
Yeah, one of them's got to be.
Yeah, he looks a bit like Andy Hinchcliffe, but smiling.
Yes.
Okay, I'm on board with that. Has he ever had an England cap?
Hinchcliffe did. And Barry's done this thing where he's had this playing career which has been, obviously done really well to get to the level he got to because it's so competitive, but he's not had an illustrious playing career. So straight in there, as soon as he's able, he's gone into the coaching thing. He's done Bayern Munich, he's done Martinez at Belgium, and now he's doing England. Good on him, I say.
Yeah.
I'm just looking up how many caps Andy Hinchcliffe
7.
got. Oh, was it 7?
That's
Okay.
poor of me.
I knew he played.
Of course, as soon as he said that.
I knew he played.
Now, Antony Barry, among some of the stuff he was talking about, and I did like the English shirt should feel like a cape, lovely stuff. He also compared Thomas Tuchel to a UFO. He said, I've never seen anything like him in terms of personality and also in methodology, in his way of working. He was something for me that was almost like a UFO. He was not anything like I'd seen before. There's something about Thomas. There's stardust there. I can't exactly say what it is, but it's something special. It's the X factor that we all look for. I'm not sure you can learn it. I think it's God-given, and to this day, he still has it. Blimey!
Take the UFO sentence out. It's a perfectly fine comment.
Yeah.
The UFO thing, kind of, as you'd expect from a UFO, just comes from nowhere.
Yep.
Unexpected. Totally unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unexpected flying objects.
Because if you replace the phrase UFO with what UFO actually stands for, it makes the entire quote entirely totally mental.
Yep.
I've never seen anything like him in terms of personality and also methodology, in a way of working. He was something for me that was almost like an unidentified flying object. Doesn't work, does it? The UFO.
Do you mean posted on a Facebook group at 11 p.m?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well, the Luke and Pete show, we asked if people had ever seen a UFO. We got loads of emails, and every single one of them started with, "I was walking home from the pub late one night." Every single one of them.
And they were all
so
from
maybe
Pete
Antony
Donaldson.
Barry was the same.
I need to start looking up more.
He should have gone. He should have gone into this more and said, "Going into his office is like turning up at Area 51."
I wonder if he was pushed.
He's like Will Smith in Independence Day, Vish.
No, that's what I call a close encounter.
And if you turn up and you're looking a bit ropey, he will punch you and go, "Welcome to St George's Park."
Yeah, that's a great scene, by the way.
Yeah, brilliant.
Welcome to Earth. It's great.
Do you think if they pushed him a bit more on this comment, we'd have found out that he believes in aliens?
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't.
And like it was.
I'm glad that we don't need that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
the thing about Thomas Tuchel is, it's like because we all started from an alien race, and he's like the one who sired us.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
yeah, so it's starting to get a bit more David Icke.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
right. I'm not against that. Like a rogue conspiracy theorist assistant manager that isn't Matt Letitia. Sign me up.
Yeah, okay, there we are. All right, coming up after this, does Harry Kane hold the keys to the World Cup? Welcome back to the Football Ramble, everybody. Right, we've got some correspondence. It's England time. We put the feelers out there. You have responded.
Well, it's a perfect storm of international football. Loads of shows. Get the listeners to do the work.
Yeah.
so here they are.
Some people don't want to know how the sausage is made.
Get a jingle of that.
Hello,
Time for your turn, listeners.
Respect.
That's right.
Okay.
I
Fine.
feel like Tuchel this week. Hello, is that Alex Scott?
yeah. Come do the work.
Yeah, you might as well, to be honest.
Come up, yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, you can.
Right.
Yeah.
This is from L on X. With Harry Kane
Fucking X.
with Harry Kane entering even higher peaks than ever seen before in his career, should we be doing everything we possibly can to finally build the England team around him, or is he the kind of special player that can adapt to help unlock those around him?
At the risk of sounding unfair to a very welcome and appreciated listener to this show, L, have you been watching any football in the last 15 years? Because England have been already do that, and both those things are already the case.
Right.
Surely, right?
Yeah. So that's your answer.
Yeah.
Right. Vish?
Well, it's like, no, before we move on from this, right? It's not like suddenly at the age of 33 or whatever he is, and 76 England goals, people have gone, I'll tell you what, we should probably think about maximising that guy's potential.
All right, okay.
So you're not playing him on the
fine.
wing then?
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
So would you start him?
Yeah. I think you need to use different weapons for different challenges.
Yeah.
I think you use them for the final.
He's a skeleton. Well, has he got the keys to the World Cup? He's the skeleton key,
But you're the England guy here.
if you like.
Well, I might be being unfair to Ellen Division. I don't mean to be, but the point I'm making is basically sound, right?
I think
that has been happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the difference now, and it's a slight one, but it's still an important one.
We're not playing a false nine, are
Well,
we?
I suppose. Go on, Vish.
but there is I get the sense watching this particular England side that the forward does less running than he needs to. Sorry, than he used to, which is ideal for Kane right now. Mm-hmm. And there's also we also have a smart enough midfield, I think, to cope with him dropping back.
Well, and so that would be an argument maybe for Bellingham in there. I know there's a lot of arguments for Bellingham in there, but you could say that if it was, say, Phil Foden or maybe Morgan Rogers, they play with forwards who like to stretch the defence and try and run in behind, which is not Kane's game. And maybe what Elle is talking about is in Euro 2024. I mean, Kane was a little bit injured still. There was other problems there, but maybe Elle is saying that.
But they built the team around him too much in 2024.
Well, but they didn't, because Kane, as we know, plays better with runners, and Phil Foden, that's not really his game, playing on the left. So I think what Tuchel is looking at, having managed Kane at club level, having as Bayern do and have done since Kane's there, having two runners beyond him, which is why I think Rashford is probably going to start big games for England. And I think it's not Saka's game so much, admittedly, but Kane and Saka, I think, work really well. So there's sort of an understanding there. So I think should England, play to his strength, because I mean you saw some of the highlights of him playing for Bayern this season. I mean he really is deep. There's that clip, isn't there, where he goes in for a sliding tackle on the edge of his box. So I
suppose really in the semi-final when they played Foden and Bellingham behind Kane, maybe that doesn't. If I'm trying to be fair, that doesn't maybe play to Kane's strength so much.
You saw that when England deployed that sort of 3-5-2 formation, or 3-6-1, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It was out of necessity. They didn't. That wasn't the plan at all. So maybe Elle is. I mean, I ultimately agree with you. Yes, England obviously tried to.
We have
Kane's the first name on the team.
100% been trying to maximise everything we can get out of Harry Kane for quite a long time now. It's just a point I'm making.
Yeah.
And I think we don't play, like I say, a false nine. We don't.
But Kane sometimes operates as one a little bit.
A lot of the conversation
on a false 8.
A lot of conversation is, I feel like, based around how we get the best out of Kane, because if you've got a world-class, consistent scorer, a Kane, a Haaland, whoever you want to call it, Mbappe or whatever, like that's gold dust.
It is.
It's total gold dust, and so I just think it's a little bit churlish. It's just we've not been doing that.
Yep.
Well, sorry that's unfair, but that's just my style.
But I think the question was framed as either or, really.
Right.
Wasn't it? I don't think it was.
I think again, in light of the previous tournament, there were little bits and pieces, because in the end, you would have argued in the Euros, actually, the way the kind of team operated, partly due to injury and exhaustion or whatever you want to say, Watkins was probably a better option in some moments, as it proved to be. But I think
not now.
But I think that was partly
because Kane was shattered as well.
and injured.
Right,
So
that history suggests that is likely to still be the case come next summer.
Oh, he's got a winter break.
Yeah,
he had one before, didn't he?
They also might.
Oh, yeah.
They also might wrap up the league by about January.
Let's hope so.
So
and then we need to wrap
he
it
loves
up.
goal. This is a problem. I suggested this a while ago.
I agreed with you when you said it as well.
About sometimes they should just stop Kane.
He's his own worst enemy.
Yeah,
100%.
Give him a week or 10 days off.
I felt like that as well. I remember you saying it, and I felt like that as well when he kept getting that ankle injury. So just stop fucking playing for a bit. Stop playing. Anyway, let's see if a man called Toby has got a better question.
Where did he leave his question?
On YouTube.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he left it on
It's
YouTube.
an option, people.
Yeah. Will we see an England long throw routine in the next two games, what with them being in vogue in the Premier League? And more importantly, do Premier League tactics affect how the national team plays? And he's ended the message by saying, God save the king in capital letters.
Here.
Yes. So what do you think, guys? Are we going to see long throws? And broadly speaking, do the Premier League tactics affect how the national team plays?
That's what Tuchel said.
Tuchel's already said that he would do long throws. He
Back
likes a
in
bit of that.
September, he was asked about
He likes a bit of that.
His assistant, Antony Barry, actually did his university dissertation on throw-ins in the Premier League.
Very nice.
Ooh.
Martin O'Neill's fuming. But I would look. let's interpret this question maybe in a slightly different way, which I think would be an interesting discussion.
Well, God, not save the king.
What? No, come on. Why have we seen this prevalence of these types of tactics? Is it just a cyclical thing that people talk about, which to me seems unlikely, or is it now with the introduction of VAR that it's just so difficult to defend in the penalty area,
Well, it could be.
so the ball spending as much time as possible in there is something that people have made as a calculation that's worth doing?
I think that's a really, really good point. The second one you made there, and not really one I've considered, but surely 100%. If you think of, as you were saying, the cyclical nature of tactics, what happens is you get to a stage where like loads of people are doing one thing, so to do something differently, you end up changing it, and in this case being more direct. And what's a good way of being more direct is doing that with long throws. And the thing that countered that initially was having loads of 5'7" ball players who would just jink around and not need set pieces, but kill you in open play.
And if you look at, say, Newcastle now, Arsenal now, to an extent England now, a lot of players are massive.
Yeah.
The Newcastle was ridiculous last time out in the Premier. They were so big.
Yeah, and the VAR thing is a great point because people defend differently now in the box. So yeah, I think that's a great point. Yeah,
no more room for the dark arts.
No, well, I mean, but the numbers will also be crunched. I mean, if you're finding out, who's doing long throws, what are the percentage plays, blah 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 blah. It's like why we don't see some teams shooting from, say, long range as much, because that's like a low percentage effort, if you see what I mean.
And now more people are shooting from long range.
Yeah, because
people sit deep.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of one informs the other. So
not that many things are crunched, are they? Numbers.
Yeah.
Carrots. Stomachs. That's it.
Well, the long throw numbers over the last 5 years of the Premier League are interesting. The long throws that led to goals increased from 0.03% in the 2020-21 season to 0.38% in 24-25.
Yeah.
And, they will be... Well, that number will have gone up by the end of this season as well.
Sure.
It will have done, yeah. Well, I think Tuchel did say himself he wants to play almost like a Premier League side. I mean, the thing that he's going to have to really be aware of, which he will be, is the weather in the summer. So if you want to play high-octane football and,
just
do all
fast
the things,
paced tempo, and
it's going to be very, very difficult. So that will be a factor. There's no doubt about that.
I think they're smarter. I think England have generally been smarter about that now. It feels like England have scored a lot of their goals from set piece, or certainly they have used set pieces in dead ball situations quite well, actually.
Yeah,
even pre-Tuchel. And I think a lot of it is, we talked about this in the lead up to the Euros last year. So England are just now a very sensible, functional tournament team.
Yeah, well, they are. And do Premier League tactics affect how the national team plays? Well, I mean, the boring answer is, well, of course, because you've got the players that you have. And really, you're going on Gareth Southgate there and the little teensy bit we've seen of Thomas Tuchel. So there's no point in getting those players together and going, right, we're going to try and play like you've all been schooled at the Barcelona Academy or something. This is not
Thomas Tuchel's also managed in the Premier League, don't forget.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think it just inevitably it will. But yeah, I keep mentioning the weather, but it will play its part.
But you do mention that a lot, and I wonder, really, you suggest it because clearly it will play its part, and clearly we're going to wait and see what happens to kick-off times, and 94 was a precedent, which I think people would say retrospectively is actually quite poorly organised anyway, but clearly the weather is going to be even warmer now because of the way the climate is, and there's more games as well. But are you suggesting that that's going to affect England more than it's going to affect the other contenders to win the trophy? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, possibly, because of what people are used to climate-wise here. I mean, if you are Spanish, particularly if you're from the more southern parts of Spain, playing in warm weather is something that you're just a little bit more used to. Of course, they'll get knackered. Of course, they'll work up a sweat and all that kind of stuff. But it just to me, that's quite obvious.
If you're a Juventus,
I think Saudi Arabia are going to win it.
Well, that's the natural extrapolation to the far.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But if you play for Juventus,
yeah.
I mean, is the climate that different to
Juventus? A poor example, northern Italy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I see.
But a lot of big players play for Juventus, is my point.
Yeah, but sure. But I mean, Italy's just a hot country. I mean, I just think that in previous tournaments, England players have mentioned this before and have all the sympathy in the world.
But I just wonder if it's an outdated notion, given the improvements in things like dietary, nutrition, training, stats, all that kind of stuff.
You can't replicate that.
And they're also talking about playing games a lot later in the day in the US, aren't they? And saying that we might even have some 2 a.m. kickoffs here.
Oh, at least, yeah.
So in which case, then it's not going to be as much of a factor. And you don't know that until you see the scheduling for England's game.
But I think the idea of them playing like a top Premier League side, heavy metal football, as Jurgen Klopp said, I'm not sure.
But I think that's been the case for the vast majority of World Cup tournaments.
Fair point. All right, coming up after this, a couple more of your questions.
I've got a question from Dylan on YouTube. If Thomas Tuchel only has one place left on the plane for the World Cup and needs a left-sided forward, who do you think he should go for between Marcus Rashford and Jack Grealish?
This is not in the spirit of the question, but Rashford will be on the plane.
Yes.
So I won't think he'll have to choose between those two.
I suppose it's not necessarily Tuchel's choice, isn't it? It's we'll frame this as who would you choose out of those two?
Yeah.
Well, so it depends on two things, right? The two main inputs into the answer of this question are the profile of the other forwards you've got already.
Yep.
Because I believe, as I've said time and time again, when you're playing the formation that England tend to play with two wide forwards, you really want to be flexible in how you pick them for what challenge you've got in front of you. And the factors will be things like, who gets the best out of Kane? Can you run beyond Kane? That's important. But also, if you've got a team that's really, really good at sitting deep and defending for their lives, you might want someone who's a bit cleverer, who can unpick a lock, who can, a deep line playmaker type player, if you've got one. And so you need to be flexible in how you pick them. And as a result, you then need a blend of different types of wide forwards, right?
Yes.
So it's informed by that, but it's also informed by the fact that we're now answering this question in November, and there's a whole season ahead for those guys to impress.
Yeah.
Now, Grealish has started the Premier League season pretty well, but he's been absent here and there. But his assist record has been good so far, and I think he's found a bit of a home at Everton. And a lot of it will be informed on how good a season Everton have. I think it's good that he'll be fresher. Having said that, he didn't play much for Man City before, so he can't get much fresher. But what I'm saying, he's not playing 3 games a week.
Sure.
Marcus Rashford, from what I've seen, has really enjoyed his time at Barcelona and shown really great moments. And there's, I wouldn't necessarily say he's, from what I've seen, and you should listen to the OTC guys far more than me on this, but from what I've seen, I think you wouldn't say he's reached the heights that he's reached in the past again, but he's certainly been better.
He's not far off.
And he's used to the England thing, and it suits him, and he's played well for England in places, and he's done important things. So I think it depends on those two factors. It's up for grabs. Who's going to have the best season, and what type of blend does Tuchel want from those wide attacking players?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that those in contention for that left side, obviously Antony Gordon's been playing a bit under Tuchel, so it would be Gordon, Rashford.
Not having a great season, though.
No, but he's done all right in an England shirt. Gordon, Rashford, Grealish is down that list. He's sort of bottom of this far. And you might put Eberechi Eze in there. I know Eze is playing more centrally for Arsenal and can do that.
I think you've got to pick Eze.
But Eze is also an option on that left side.
Can Madueke come back?
Of attack. And Madueke to come back. Madueke has been good. It's a shame for his injury. But those are the 4 players, I think, that when you're talking about who could play on that left side. And again, people might want Eze more centrally. Well, if you're Eberechi Eze and I'd say there's less competition for that left side for him than there would be to play centrally in an attacking role. If you think about Bellingham, Foden, Cole Palmer to come back, and Morgan Rogers, you have to put him in there because he's done well and he's played there. So to go back to the question sort of more directly, if you like, if you pick Gordon and Rashford, yes, of course they are slightly different players, but they are, you're thinking about Kane kind of putting him in and running beyond him, which is something we've spoken about. Eze offers something very different to them, and so does Grealish. He's not going to take all 4. I suspect he'll probably take 3. And I think okay, so let's get back to the spirit of the question. I think he will take Gordon. I think he fancies him out there. We've seen him play a bit. And I think he'll take Eberechi Eze because, again, you can think of him more centrally. If you're down and you're thinking, okay, this team, our back's against the walls, but we need something. They're throwing nothing at us. You play Declan Rice in a deeper midfield and you say, Bellingham, you go forward. And you could bring on Eze centrally. So who would you go for? Rashford or Grealish? I don't think... I immediately thought, well, Rashford straight away. A lot of players were unhappy in that side when Southgate left Grealish out. I think Grealish does offer something, but if I really, really am going to be pushed for this, and this is partly informed by I think how Tuchel's going to set up, I think he should go for Rashford over him.
Yeah, I also think that the Southgate Grealish thing was a little overblown. People asked him why he made that decision.
Yeah.
And then they were fine with it.
Yeah, okay.
Well, not fine with it, but like, they were like, okay, fine, I understand.
For me, also, it needs to be just on the Grealish thing. We need to see evidence, and maybe we're starting to see it.
Yeah.
And it's been a good platform for him at Everton. But we need to see evidence from Grealish at the age of 30. He's not a player in decline. That he's a player who can still do it, and who the player of that treble-winning season for City that was a world-class player, right? He showed that he was. He was brilliant. His numbers were brilliant. He played all the time. He made a massive contribution. But since then, the gruel has been a lot thinner. Now we're seeing evidence, like I say, early evidence that he might be on his way back up. No one in the Premier League's got more assists than him at the time of recording this season, but we're still very early in the season, right? So if he ends up posting, 20 assists in the Premier League this season, which is currently on schedule to do, roughly, maybe not that many, maybe 15, and Rashford disappears off the face of the planet, which he's perfectly capable of doing, then the decision is made in this context.
But yeah,
the opposite could happen.
Sure, but the here and now, if we're going on what we've got, I think that you have to say Grealish for me has to be one of Everton's standout players this season. Like really, like people sort of
100%.
People almost sort of saying, "Blimey!" When he goes back to Man City on loan, do they keep him or does he move to a side that is challenging more readily for major honours than say Everton? That's the type of season I think Grealish has to have. Rashford has to have a good season, but Rashford's a much better team playing in Champions League football and is going for titles. So that kind of football, you would say, lends itself more to being picked than, say, Grealish.
I think if I come down one side of the fence or the other at the moment, right here, right now, you go Rashford.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree. All right, let's finish with this from Andy Salop on Discord, friend of the Ramble Andy, who says, who do you think is England's best performing player in major tournaments from Italia 90 onwards? Blimey, he's going back a long way there.
Give us some of the examples that some of the other Discorders have suggested.
Big Con said Jordan Pickford. Yeah. You might smirk at that.
I think that's a great shout.
I think it's a brilliant shout.
I think that's a great shout.
And I think it might be the answer. Our ball said Paul Gascoigne, which is one for the older generation. But Gaz, you're talking really...
That's one for the heart as well, isn't it?
Exactly. Gaz, you're talking 2 tournaments where he played well.
90 and 96, that's it.
I mean, it's a long time you're going back.
Because you've had 92 and 94 where England aren't there. So
yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Someone might say David Beckham. He produced a few moments. Ultimately, though, the teams he played in were a bit disappointing.
Kane's got to be in there.
Kane's got to be in there.
Because he's a top scorer kind of award as well.
Yeah. I mean, Kane is up there, definitely. I think, I think you have to go for more modern examples, really. Just because of how the team is done and thinking back in the day.
Because I thought maybe Rooney. Because I thought Rooney, 2004, Rooney's hit heights that not many other England players have hit at a tournament.
Yeah.
But then it's been like, the problem is, as you say, talking about more recent players, that is informed by just the sheer fact that England have been so disappointing up until that point.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say England's recent record in tournaments has been disappointing overall. We've been disappointed that we've won anything, but they've done much better.
But at the turn of the century, I think that the so-called old generation and so on, I'd be surprised if anyone was going to pick players there because, like, defensively, England were sort of pretty decent at tournaments. But I don't think anyone's going to say Rio Ferdinand or Ashley Cole, even though I thought they played well for England.
Ashley Cole's probably the only one I had straight in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been England's best player in tournaments, but he has been privy to some big moments. What do you think about Kieran Trippier?
I like it.
As a tournament player for England.
He likes every England player.
Yes.
So that's not a barometer.
Well, I was going to say Andy Hinchcliffe. Because
just to clarify, I think Pickford is a great shout, and I think
Pickford might be my answer.
But Trippier is quite an interesting one.
Trippier's in there. I would say maybe if you're talking to defender, I'd say John Stones, just because he's been ever present. And but maybe not.
I think if I'd had to pick a defender, I'd pick Ashley Cole
over Stones.
I just think Ashley Cole at his peak in tournaments.
Oh, magnificent!
Yeah. The ceiling, because ultimately you can't base it for a defender on goals, obviously, and you can't base it on wins because they haven't won anything.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at the ceiling they've reached. And Ashley Cole was at his best, the best left back in the world, and he was unplayably good. Like Cristiano Ronaldo found that out famously to his detriment. So top performances from an England defensive player in tournaments since 1990. Ashley Cole's in the conversation. He has to be.
Yeah. I think if he'd have carried on his England career, I would have been tempted to say Raheem Sterling, but I think maybe just not enough because 2018 World Cup and Euro 2020 it was very good. World Cup in Qatar obviously left the camp and all that, but yeah, I think big cons on it. I think Jordan Pickford might be the answer there.
Great for Pickford to get some credit there.
Well, I think he deserves more credit for
He's been an absolute lock, and he's never let England down.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Yeah. There we are. Let's end on a Jordan Pickford note. Thank you very much for listening to the Football Ramble, part of the Acast Creator Network. Vish and I will be back tomorrow alongside Pete and Jim.
You've got to do the God's work on tomorrow.
Yeah,
he's going to the Ashes on fucking Saturday. There's one chance left to get that belt back off him.
You're not on tomorrow.
I'm not on tomorrow.
Look at him. He thinks it's wrapped up.
Do you know why? Because the scheduling regimes don't like it, man.
To be fair, after my performance on Friday, you're right to think that you've already got it wrapped up.
You've got to find some form.
Have you asked to host the show?
I haven't asked to host the show.
He's like Tim Henman in the second week of Wimbledon. This fella.
Don't start.
You are.
Oh, and it's raining.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Vish and I, as I say, we'll be back tomorrow alongside Pete and Jim to react to England versus Serbia. And, of course, we will be playing Jack's Encyclopedia.
The Goran Ivanisevic of the Ramble is going to eat you alive tomorrow if you let him.
Thanks very much.
Who's Pete in the setting?
He's probably...
He's playing Mario Tennis, isn't he? He's Wario.
Yeah, I'm really struggling to name tennis players.
He's Barami, that old boy from...
He is, yeah.
What is he, French-Iranian?
Something like that.
Yeah, funny fella,
Yeah, what a man, though.
Yeah, he's Jamie Murray.
That's harsh on Jamie. Think of the Davis Cup. Subscribe to the Football Ramble in your podcast app so you never miss an episode. And do vote for us in the FSA Awards. We'd bloody love it if you did. That link will be in the show notes. And it's on all the socials as well.
Yeah, because the other shows, they're stepping up now.
They
trying
really
to
are.
Push it.
Yeah.
I heard Cliché's pushing it so hard.
Yeah.
And Football Weekly are running scared.
Yeah.
So we've got to get stuck in there as Ramble guys.
We want to stick it to all the men.
All of them.
Yeah. All right. See you tomorrow.